Welcome to Waterton Road for the first time in 1990. Yes, it's Speedway time again, once more. This is Chris Jones with race video to bring you the action tonight from the second leg of the HL1 trophy. Last night up at Ipswich, 55 points to the Witches and 41 points to the Kestrels. So it's a 14-point gap that the Hackney team have got to make up, and we're looking forward to some very exciting speedway on a cool, dry evening, almost ideal conditions for the beginning of the season. Right, well, with me now is Andy Galvin, the captain of the Kestrels. Andy, you had one or two slightly nasty bangs towards the end of last season. I trust that you're all fit and well and raring to go for this season.
Yeah, well, I've had another bang since then in Australia. I knocked myself out. I lost a week. I lost my memory again, but it's all back again now, and I had a good one last night. A few engine problems, but it's all sorted out now, so hopefully I have a good one tonight.
And 14 points the difference from last night. What do you reckon your chances are?
Well, fairly good. I mean, it was on their home track, so now we're at our home track. I've got very good reserves where I think they got 20 points between them, so that's always a big part in it. So hopefully our reserves at home should do the same.
Right, well, good luck tonight, Andy, and we'll obviously be watching you throughout the 1990 season. Thank you very much. Yeah. Right, and now with Chris Louis, the number one from the Witches, and a successful evening last night, your opening meeting and a 14-point victory.
Yeah, that's right. It was a bit close up until about 3 races ago, and then we pulled off 3 5-1s, I think, so give us a bit of a lead for tonight, because I think we'll probably need it.
Yes, obviously your old track here at Hackney, so you know your way around the Waterton Road circuit. How do you fancy your chances with that 14-point lead taken over to the second part tonight?
I think it'll be a close meeting tonight, so I think, you know, overall we should pull it off. It'll be fairly close tonight, though.
Well, that's two riders, one from each team, and they're both confident. Let's see how things go with the 16 heats of racing tonight. And so the riders out there on the line. Chris Louis been introduced. Number one for Connell's Witches. And the number two, Billy Lellman from Australia. Moving forward now, Dean Standing, the number three for the Witches.
It's not David Norris driving at number 4. It is somebody we know very well indeed, Alan Mogridge.
And the number 4, Alan Mogridge. And Dave Norris rides at number 5.
He was the reason why they won the league. I wonder if this man will do it for Ipswich this year. Shane Parker.
Shane Parker, the first of the Ipswich reserves.
We see some ankle injury. He's going to keep it out of action for a little while. To sign literally minutes before the start of tonight's meeting. Coming in, 2 numbers for the Connells, which is Colin White.
And Colin White coming into the Witches in place of Craig Hyde, who was injured last night at Vauxhall Heath. The first of the HL1 Kestrels, interviewed him earlier on, Andy Galvin. And riding at number 2 will be Michael Warren. And then we come to the man with one of the smiles in National League Speedway, number 3, Stevie Schofield. Riding at number 4 is Paul Whittaker. And then the number 5 rider is Gary Tagg.
You won't have read this evening star on the mail. We switch into Europe
And from Denmark, the number 6 is Tim Corneliusson, and he scored 2 points up at Hackney, at Ipswich last night. And from Germany, the number 7, Uwe Gessner, who's a long track specialist and didn't have too happy a time last night at Ipswich, but hoping for better things tonight, riding at number 7. The riders coming to the line for heat number 1 of the second leg of the HL1 trophy. Hackney, of course, trailing 41 points to 55, and riding in red for Hackney, Andy Galvin. His partner in blue is Michael Warren. Just coming into the picture in yellow and black, Billy Lellman for the Witches, and the rider in white on the inside line is Chris Louis. So Andy Galvin, Michael Warren for the Kestrels, Chris Louis and Billy Lellman for the HL1 for the Cornell's Witches. The engines rev for the first time in 1990 here at Waterton Road, and it's Chris Louis who goes into the lead as they go into the first bend, closely followed by Andy Galvin. The positions 3-all as they go into that bend, but now Louis overtaken by Galvin. Galvin comes out in the lead at the end of the first lap. Chris Louis in second place. Michael Warren in third place with Billy Lellman at the back at the moment. And Andy Galvin going just as well as he did throughout most of 1989 here at Waterton Road. Absolutely flying in heat number 1. Chris Louis in second place, some way back, and then a bit of a gap before we see the rider in blue, Michael Warren. They come round the final turn, and it's going to be 3 points to Andy Galvin, 2 points to Chris Louis in white, and 1 point to Michael Warren, making it a 4-2 heat advantage to the Kestrels. Chance the Hackney fans have had to see our 2 European imports. Riding in red will be Tim Corneliusson, and in blue there in shot at the moment, Uwe Gessner. For the Witches, Shane Parker rides in white and Colin White rides in yellow. Corneliusson, Gessner, Parker and White, heat number 2. And it's the Hackney reserves who go into lead position. They didn't do too well last night at Foxhall Heath, but they look a lot happier on the Waterton Road trail. Tim Corneliusson in red in the lead. The battle for second place now being decided on the back straight, with Shane Parker from the Witches going through in the white helmet. He very nearly came off on the exit to that turn, but he managed to hold it. And it's still Tim Corneliusson in lead position, being chased hard by Shane Parker from the Witches. 1 lap to go as they pass the yellow and black cross flag. And Shane Parker looking dangerous all the way down that back straight. Tim Corneliusson, a few twitches on the bend, but he's going to take the checkered flag. 3 points to Tim, 2 points to Shane Parker, and 1 point to Uwe Gessner, making another 4-2 race advantage to the Kestrels. The riders down on the start line. The rider in red, Gary Tagg, waiting for heat number 3. The rider we're waiting for is the rider in yellow, which is Alan Moggeridge. In blue will be Paul Whittaker, so Gary Tagg and Paul Whittaker for the Kestrels. In white is Dave Norris, and yellow and black just coming up to the line now, Alan Moggeridge. 8 for the progressive score on the night in favour of the Kestrels, which means that that lead that the Witches have gradually been caught back. 49 points to the Kestrels, 59 to the Witches overall. Heat number 3. The tapes go up, and it's Dave Norris in white who takes up lead position as they go onto the back straight, followed closely by his teammate Alan Mogridge. So at the moment, the Kestrels trailing to the Witches, and Dave Norris going down the back straight. The two Kestrels fighting among themselves, but they're not making any impression on the two Witches, who are really flying. Dave Norris in white, Alan Mogridge in yellow and black, and now Paul Whittaker in blue moving up into third position, ready to put a challenge in on this last lap for second position. But it's still Dave Norris in the lead, and I think Paul Whittaker has probably left it too late to challenge Alan Mogridge. In fact, he's got problems there, and Norris takes the 3 points, Mogridge 2, and it's Gary Tagg who comes home in third position. And Steve Schofield coming into view for the first time tonight, riding in the red helmet colour. He'll be joined in blue by Tim Corneliusson. Tim just moving up, and then we see the rider in white, Dean Standing, and on the inside line in yellow and black is Colin White. So Steve Schofield and Tim Corneliusson for the HL1 Kestrels, Dean Standing and Colin White for Cornell's Witches. The progressive score 9 points all now, 50 to 64 over the two legs. Steve Schofield goes straight into lead position. Dean Standing not having too good a start there. He reared a bit and that lost him quite a lot of time. Schofield clear as they go into the second lap, with Dean Standing in second, Colin White is third, and Tim Corneliusson at the back at the moment. The positions remaining unchanged as they go into the second half of the race. Steve Schofield in red in lead position, being chased by Dean Standing, but there's a fair gap between the first two. Tim Corneliusson gradually catching up with Colin White and starting to put in a challenge there for third position, and that's where the interest lies in this race. But the checkered flag being made ready, and it's Steve Schofield who takes the win. Second place is Dean Standing, and in third place Colin White. 3-all, the points shared. Down there in the red helmet colour we have Gary Tagg waiting for the start of Heat 5. Alongside him in yellow, Billy Lellman, and on the inside line, Paul Whittaker in blue. The one rider that we've missed out so far, the rider right on the outside in the white helmet colour, is Chris Louis. The Kestrels and the Witches drawing 12 points apiece. This is Heat 5, Gary Tagg, Paul Whittaker, Chris Louis and Billy Lellman. And it's the Witches' Chris Louis who goes into lead position as they go round the first bend. Second place held by Paul Whittaker at the moment. But as I speak, it's now, yes, Paul Whittaker, Gary Tagg still in third place. It looked for a moment as if they'd swapped positions. And as they come down the home straight, they're side by side. Chris Louis fighting for all he's worth. Paul Whittaker looking for the big way round the outside. Louis on the inside, Whittaker on the outside. They come round once again. One lap to go this time, and Chris Louis still managing to hold Paul Whittaker off. Can Whittaker find a way past Chris Louis as they